saying
James.
that she has
I'm
to,
proud of you,
right?
Stoic. I'm proud of you.
I'm doing this for James.
That's the biggest issue because you should be doing it for Allah, you know? And
That's right.
Obviously, I mean, once you're
this
removed from
just
the fold, you might as well do everything else. I mean, when James says you're out of the fold of Islam, that's a definitive. That's
So
now
so
necessarily.
Faye, now the fact that
so
he's a
one
white
sec.
man does come into play.
So I
And
just
notice
have to
what Nargis
just to
said is Nargis
specify.
You
said
know
that
what is right.
Nargis said that not wearing the hijab, right? That you don't have to wear the hijab to be a Muslim, right? That is not istihlal because somebody in fact can be a Muslim and not wear the hijab, okay? But if Nargis would have said something like, you don't actually have to wear, you don't, it's not actually an injunction that you should wear the hijab. Allah didn't like say that in the Quran, or it's not an actual injunction. That would be istihlal, that would take her out of the fold.
Correct.
But if she's just saying that you don't have to wear the hijab to be Muslim, that's not istihlal.
I didn't even say that. I had an AI picture of some girl wearing a mask. Immediately, James assumed that was me without asking me, is that you in the picture? And he said, obviously, you're not a Muslim. You're not wearing the hijab. You pick and choose, which I don't know from where that came, and followed by many, many other accusations and dying to remove me from the fold. After which he asked what to test me. He doubted. He said, what is the zakah of wuzu?
So
They like saying
the
that
thing
thing
that
about perennialists is you pick and choose.
the thing that was presented was I was not saying, hey, you're not a Muslim, because I don't get to decide what a Muslim is with all the different versions of Islam. What I am saying is when I make a statement, hey, from what I have learned and from what I have gathered, and I told you the people who I talked to, who I told you where I'm getting sources, and I'm saying from this view, if you don't have this, you are not considered a Muslim. Like, that's not me taking you outside of the fold of Islam. That's saying, hey, from this perspective and this view, you wouldn't be a Muslim. I can't take you outside of the fold of anything. You guys do
If what
realize
though?
that, right?
No, but you wouldn't be a Muslim based on the considerations you said you learned. You wouldn't be a Muslim if what? Sorry, I just wanted to hear that again.
Well, so one of the things, the statement, and she clarified, so I'm not trying to like hang her back on this, but she was saying, and the way that I heard it was taking and picking and choosing from different religious beliefs to formulate her view. But after we talked and we went back and forth, it seems like what she's actually doing is she's only taking the things that she already got from Muhammad from her view. And that's a completely different perspective than I think perennialism is going to actually like, teach. That they're not going to like, so the truth that there is in other religions are only highlighted because it matches the truth within your own religion. It's not that you got that from that religion. You got that from Islam, is what she ended up clarifying.
That is a true statement.
Okay.
And for that, I am ready to be a Christian at the moment. I am ready. Thank you, James. This is life changing. Thank you.
I do, hold on, I will say that I wish she wouldn't have confused what that other guy said for something I said, because then maybe the conversation wouldn't have been like as heated. But if she thinks that I'm just like coming in the room and just the first words out of my mouth are that your religion is disgusting, like I look, I know better when it comes to talking to Muslims that a lot of Muslims will shut down or kill the conversation for like any kind of criticism that they believe is not like, actually basically, well, let me say this, they'll shut it down for any criticism. But if you say something like all Muslims are disgusting, da 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 da. Well, what they're going to do then is they're going to shut down the conversation. They're not going to answer any other questions, and you've given that person an out. Well, I don't want to give atheists, I don't want to give Muslims, I don't want to give anybody I talk to a reason to like vacate the conversation. And so I'm very careful with my wording.
No, I know because you did not say Muslims are repulsive.
James,
There were 4 or 5 of us in the
You
room, and you
guys are
said
being
Islam
very
is repulsive, and that's okay. Just like how my hips don't lie, my ears don't lie
James,
either.
James, so we are commended, like whenever someone comes and um, talks about Islam or wants to learn about it, we are more than willing and open to share that this da'wah, right? But if someone comes in to insult and their intentions are bad, we are told to end it. Like we're not supposed to let them slur the prophet's name or talk to in a derogatory
Because then
manner.
we'd be taking part in it. There's actually
Yeah,
injunctions
it
in the
was
Quran that clearly say what you're saying.
yeah. So that's probably, I just want you to clarify one more time. Like, if you are coming to actually talk about Islam and your intentions are good, we are more than welcome. Like, Muslims will share knowledge and explain things. But if the conversation is literally to disparage Islam, we will willfully walk away. No problem.
So I
Yeah,
think
but
that
like, how do you
the
figure
issue
that
with,
out? Oh, my
well, the
bad.
issue, Elliot, with,
Sometimes it's
sorry, it's
very
okay,
obvious.
Elliot, so Elliot, the issue is that what happens is criticizing Islam becomes the uncomfortable conversation that they're going to walk away from, and they're going to call you Islamophobic, like 3 of them called me like 10 minutes ago.
No, but
And
James,
so the
didn't you
issue
point
is
out
that the only,
earlier?
I'm
Like,
trying to
sorry
finish
about that,
speaking,
Graf.
please. I'm trying to finish speaking. So the issue is that the only conversations that Muslims want to have are ones where they control the narrative, where they don't answer tough questions, where nobody's critical of Islam in any way. That's the only conversations that the majority of Muslims who I interact with online want to have. And that's sad because like the Muslims I work with are not like this.
Well, I'm
It's
not
just
like
something
that.
about like online.
I
You
think I
point.
think that I think you should understand the high conversion rate is not because we walk away. They learned from other Muslims, so that actually goes against what you're just saying.
Well, actually, out of all the, so like 3 out of every 5, like in the US, for example, who convert to Islam, leave it within 5 years because it wasn't what they expected. So once they actually learn like what Islam is, they don't stay with it. And then Muslim youth are leaving Islam in high numbers, alarming numbers.
Is
You,
it
I have
can I
a,
find
I
that
have a
stat
video
under
on my
an
channel.
james.com?
alarming number.
Where's the numbers coming
That's
from?
so
James.com?
false. It's
Is it from
So
confirmably false.
james.com? I
so
need the
they,
source. I need the
so the,
source.
hang on. So
Provide
I don't,
source.
I don't just say, hey, a Christian said this. I have videos where I've actually clipped Muslim speakers who are trying to encourage other Muslims to grow Islam, who are actually talking about all the Muslim youth leaving Islam.
Can you share the source? I don't need your
No,
videos.
that
Can
was
you
his
please
source,
share?
sister. You didn't understand. It's not like he had a
That is
The
sad.
stat to like,
source
Well,
is
no,
my
an
It's a
ass.
anecdote.
The
fact.
That
no,
source,
no.
he
The
heard a sheikh
source.
say
Source
something
is a
sometime.
fact.
Oh, okay, okay. Hang on. No, no. The sources match the Christian sources on this. But what I do though when I talk to a Muslim is I present to you what Muslims are saying, not what Christians are saying about Islam, because you guys will reject that outright. But if you have Muslims that are actually claiming this, then you have to wrestle with why are you not admitting this fact, but the other Muslims are.
Wait, why
And
aren't
there
we
are a
admitting
great
an
deal of
anecdote?
Muslims that are leaving. There are a great deal of Muslims that are leaving Islam every year.
Actually, it's a growing religion, 2 billion plus. So
No, it has to.
By
james.com,
It's not just
because
on
of
Maybe
men.
if
james.com.
you read a
because
little
of the,
more, a little less conversation, a little more
A
action,
lot of
please.
reading
No, a
would
little
help.
less
Maybe if you can do
anecdote
a
and a
little more
little
You
less.
said
reading
a
and less
Bro,
nigga.
you just
conversing.
swore at the
so the
Elvis. Jeez, like,
Reading and
reason
Hold on.
why
stopping.
if I
Wait, can
say,
wait. Sorry,
well,
one second. Oh, just wait, James. Just be clear. There is no like study or there is no stat that you have, right? It's just like something you overheard or
no.
something you saw on YouTube.
If I was at my house, I could pull up like for example, why is Islam the fastest growing religion right now? Well, it's tied to birth rates, and it's tied to the fact that you can't leave Islam.
No, I get you, but
Islam
I'm
does
saying
not
Yeah, so
on
involve
it
the point
doesn't
that you
also
made
have the
though.
highest
no, no,
conversion
I
no.
rate.
know, but James. I like I want a simple answer to my question. You can carry on like the debate. I'm just saying. do you actually have a specific figure that says like these are the deconversion rates, you know, in Islam, and it's like a really growing number or something?
Yeah, there's a Pew Research document that
Okay, cool.
discusses the percentage of Muslim converts who leave within 5 years, and that's where I get that number from. Then, when it comes to why Islam is the fastest growing religion, you look at the birth rates compared to other religions, and then you look at the how it's incentivized to stay Muslim because you're not allowed to leave
Could you share
Islam.
the link
What accounts for
for
the high
me, James?
conversion
This is
rate?
interesting. Could you share
Right,
the
that's where
So
you
link?
I
get the
just
birth rates.
so
What
so
accounts
let's
for the high
so
conversion
let's
rate?
let's
Well,
just
is there
let's get
counter
you guys on
research?
record.
I mean,
Can he share the
Hold on, I just
link
want you guys on.
and not his
Hold on,
anecdotal?
I'm gonna try to get
he said
home
he's
as
not
soon as I
home.
can to get the links if I can, because
Well,
I
Ivan,
don't know if I'll be
have you
able to
got the
find them before I have to
stats?
go because I have a meeting in
Yeah, I
like
can
an
resend
hour.
some.
But the thing that I'm
Yeah,
trying to say is that I want to make sure I get you guys on the record. Are you claiming that Islam is not growing due to high birth rates? And are you
No,
claiming that you're perfectly allowed to leave Islam?
no, both those things we aren't claiming.
Hold on, what'd you
I
say?
claimed,
Are
I
you
claimed, I
claiming?
claimed there needs to be something that accounts for high conversion rates.
wait,
Yeah, and
is that high? Is that a relative? Sorry, is that like
so
Yeah,
a
the
compared to
relative
highest
others.
group,
quality?
Yeah, yeah, it is relative kind of thing.
so the highest group
Okay.
that converts to Islam is they get it from Christianity. When you look at this, the Pew study, but when you look at it, it's just how many of
I
them
put the Pew study for
stay
everyone to
Muslim.
see.
But
Thank you,
you
sister.
look at the Pew study for how long
Fastest growing
Thanks,
the
religion
people
according
James.
to
stay.
Pew.
It
Yeah,
is.
not just
But
by birth
eh,
rate, by conversion rate.
But then
bro,
you look.
James, what
But
did I
then you
tell
look
you
into how
about
many.
IF, Islamophobia?
I Okay, Ken, I'm gonna need you to like only have me talk to like one or at most two. When I'm talking to like three or four, they overtalk me, and it's just not
But
being
you're
productive
spreading
when we're all
lies. It's
talking
hard
over
to
each
sit and
other.
listen without
Okay,
So,
sources.
can I
it,
just say wait, can I just wait, James, let me just can I just offer you a bit of vindication here? The study you just posted literally begins by saying the main reason for Islam's growth ultimately involves simple demographics. To begin with, Muslims have more children than members of the other seven major religious groups analyzed in the study. Muslim women have an average of 2.9 children, significantly above the next highest group, Christians, at 2.6, and the average of
that's
all
what I said.
non-Muslims, 2.2.
That's what I said, and that's what these
Yeah,
guys
so
are fighting
in all
against.
major regions where there is a sizable Muslim population, Muslim fertility exceeds non-Muslim fertility.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that
so
was the
how would you
issue.
account for the high conversion rate from Christianity to Islam? Can you tell me
Well,
how that has to do with birth rates?
no, what I addressed that, and that's that you do have like a large percentage that's converting, but when you look at the retention, how many of them stay
That's a different
Muslim?
consideration, James. The
Majority. No, no,
contention.
no, no, no. Hang on. No, no, no,
That's a
no. Hang on.
different
Hang on.
consideration. I'm asking why they
Hang on.
convert
Hang
in
on. Hang on.
droves.
Hang on. I completely addressed that. The reason why they
No, you
convert
didn't.
is because they're presented an oversimplification of what Islam is. Now, once they study and they learn Islam, and you look at all the research and the questionnaires and what the answers are for leaving, within 5 years, a large chunk of that, more than half, leave. And the main answer is because it wasn't what they
Can you
expected.
provide the source, please?
Abito might be able to find that
When
one
you
like he
He
can,
said.
just
it
But
said,
doesn't
yeah,
have to be now. He's driving.
guys. Yeah, he just said he's gonna get it when he goes home. Come on, don't keep
That's fine.
believing that.
well,
We don't
Abito
need this to
might
be
be able
done
to
right now.
find that. Like, well, Abito found the birth rate one, which addresses that. So now they can't claim the
I
opposite.
actually put
Abito
that there. I put that there.
When has someone
I
claimed
probably
the
find this
there.
opposite?
study.
That's the
I
amazing
put
thing.
that. I put that there, James.
Like, when has somebody claimed that Islam doesn't have the highest, birth rate, like in terms of its,
No one did.
people that express religion? And nobody is denying that, right? We're
No,
asking
but
you if that's what you're saying accounts for a large percentage of Muslims in the world. What accounts for the high rate of conversion from religions, especially Christianity? Is what I'm seeing is 77% of people who convert to Islam were Christian.
Yeah, and I said and I answered that, And then I also explained that that answer is
You
in
gave me a
when they
consideration of why it could be that way, right? But it's not like an
no, no, no.
answer to where like, oh, this completely explains why they're converting. Is because they get, sold like some kind of pipe dream in the beginning, and then when they realize that they all like, leave or something like that. That's just the
That's the
consideration that you're epistemically, thinking about.
well, no, no. That's what the people. So out of all the people who converted, they're asking these people who converted to Islam, and they're saying what percentage of them left Islam, and then they're saying what is the reason for them leaving Islam, and this is the answer they're given. So they're saying that they weren't presented Islam as Islam is. They were presented something else. This is what the people who are deconverting, which is the majority in that group of people who convert. So you might have a
Didn't you
high
say half?
conversion rate, but you have an incredibly
Didn't you
high
just say half?
deconversion rate.
I thought you just
Are
claimed
you
it was half, but sorry.
what are you talking about?
So you said that half of percentage of the Christians that are converting to Islam are deconverting. Is that what you said?
Over half of
So
converts.
is
Well,
the
to be honest,
majority of
wait,
them.
if you guys are, I'm just looking through the study though, like if you guys are talking, if if this is like a compare and contrast with Christianity, then yeah, Christianity is getting beaten up because when it comes to religious switching, there's a net increase for Muslims of 420,000, and
It's
there's
not
a
even
net
close,
decrease for
Dimitri.
Christians of 8 million. Of
No,
8
no, that's
million,
not
bro.
right. Like the
That's
No,
metric
it's
was
it's
crazy.
for
correct.
those who
Yeah,
convert.
there.
The metric was
That's
for those who
wild.
convert to Islam, not. Yeah, did
No,
you
I'm
read
saying no,
read
no, no.
that
I
that
say look,
correctly?
the way they're not, no,
For
no, no,
those
like
who
the actual
convert.
wait. The biggest winners is atheism or like religiously unaffiliated, right? They have a net positive of like 7 million basically. That's based
Obviously.
on that's based on that's based on subtracting the amount of people switching in as they refer to it and switching out, right? But when it comes to Christianity, it's a minus 8 million, and Islam is like negligible. It's like net. It's
Yeah,
positive
yeah.
Thanks to James.
420K.
Thanks to James.
But if you look at, I bet if you go look at those conversion rates for Christianity, Islam's probably going to be the top
So
one.
the first thing that comes up,
Actually, I think it'd
and
be atheism. I think it'd be atheism.
I'm trying to find the article, but the
I
first
think
thing
so
that
too.
comes up is most converts leave Islam within 3 to 5 years of joining it. So while they do have a high convert rate,
Source. Where's
the
the source?
majority of those converts leave, and so that has to you have to ask is Islam really growing based
What is
on that? And the
majority in
answer is
numbers,
no.
James? What does majority in
But
numbers mean?
hey, Elias, I'm talking to two other people. Can you
Yeah,
like
but
wait just
this
a
is
minute?
not James' rooms, bro. This is a
Elias,
different.
Elias,
You're
look,
not the mod. You're not the mod, James. You're not.
Elias, I'm the only Christian in here talking to
I
several
thought
Muslims.
I thought there's a lot
I
of
think that
Christians.
would you like it if you came in a room and
Yeah,
eight
yeah,
or
I would
nine
like that.
Christians
Yeah,
ganged up on you? Or would you like to have just one-on-one or one-on-two
I
conversations?
would like
I
to
think you
take
could just
on
wait
five
and be
Christians.
patient.
Stop, Elias. Please stop.
James, don't worry. I'm on your side. I will support and defend you, except for Islam.
So you can even look, they even have like you can look at like Islamic youth that are leaving, which is the shocking high number within Islam. You look at private people leaving Islam but still publicly remaining Muslim. They have secret polls done within countries that are Islamic to get like these answers. But the bottom line is the reason why Islam is growing is because of the high birth rate, and that's what the other study said.
Where are the studies? Where's the numbers?
The one study's in the chat.
No, no, the one that said 3 to 5 years. That one. What is the numbers there?
He said he's gonna get it when he gets home.
No, no, he said he was looking at it now. He was
Oh,
looking.
sorry.
No,
Yeah.
I was trying to pull it up on my other phone, and I have a link for it saved. I think it's also a Pew Research study. But what I found was
I couldn't
when you
find it
first
on
search
Pew
down,
Research.
when, Elias, what I found, and you can do this too just as easy as I can do. Just type in your search engine and you might find the
Yeah, I
study
did. I
before
also
I'm able to.
I also use
And you just
ChatGPT. It's not
hold
there
on.
though.
You just say real quick. You just write what percentage of Muslim converts leave Islam.
So you're not making that claim. You want us to like find the proof for you, or do you can you prove that?
Well, he said he's driving.
So
Just to be fair, Elias, he said he was driving and
No,
that
he
like he
said
had
he
to
was
like
looking
intervene.
at it in his other phone,
I,
but
I
whatever,
I
man.
pulled up my other phone, but it's very difficult to drive, to talk to you guys, and to have another phone in my hand. And I was
Hey,
hoping that the study'd be
It
easily
doesn't need to be settled
accessible.
right now, James.
hey, so there is Pew data that shows, but it's all American. It's like Christians 23% leave, Muslims 20, I think 24%. Um, but that's just like around the board. But that's only America.
Well, that's based on what the AI pulled up. But I don't. So like I don't want to just throw AI at you and say, haha, see, AI says that most converts leave within 3 to 5 years. I want to actually like show you guys the study. That way you can see it like we showed you the study within the chat about the high birth rates and why Islam is growing. But look, here's the thing. Even if Islam wasn't growing, that doesn't mean that Islam is not true. Like there has to be something separate than just whether or not something's growing fast. If someone could argue that atheism and secularism is growing incredibly fast, but none of us would say that makes atheism or secularism true.
And I hope you don't think we were
No one
doing the
argued.
opposite thing for Christianity, right?
No one argued Islam is correct because it's growing though. Did anyone say that here?
Well, no, I'm saying to you
That's a
guys
fallacy,
because
though. Yeah.
that point was
Yeah,
brought
it's a
up.
fallacy.
That point was brought up within this conversation. They said, "So why do you think Islam is the fastest growing religion?" And they were asking the question as a point for Islam. And so I was
Yeah, it's just a
addressing that
consideration.
point, even though
It is a point for
we all
Islam though,
agree,
but it's not the reason why it's correct. But it is a point for
yeah,
Islam.
yeah, even though we agree that like the point
It
is
doesn't
fallacious,
necessitate
yes.
its truthfulness, obviously.
No, yeah, we agree.
It's still a positive thing to be more acceptable though as
Yeah,
a
it's evidence,
religion.
really. It's evidence. That's what
Yeah,
I consider.
yeah. I mean, Christians don't have to prove only that God exists. They also have to prove that three God exists, and Jesus, the man, is a God. So it's harder for
Well,
them, you know.
we wouldn't say three gods. We would say one being and three persons,
So,
and then we would explain that
right.
out.
Yeah,
Now,
explain it.
I
I
have a
should
feeling you can't
clarify
make
this
this
for you.
argument, James, but can you please see my PTR? It's only for you. All out of love.
I'm so
So
lost without you.
just to clarify, Elias, when it comes to the Trinity conversation with Muslims, I've had this quite a bit, and usually when we start contrasting Tawheed versus the Trinity, we find that there's a lot of things that Muslims are running into issues with where like you're criticizing Christianity, but it's actually worse on the Islamic side. So usually when I have the Trinity discussion, I like the contrasting back and forth because I think that's more fruitful.
So Muslims say there is one God. That's an issue, but Christians saying three gods. That's better, or I don't understand.
I'm not sure how Tawheed as a concept is confusing at all. Maybe James, you can elucidate on that.
Maybe
So the
three is
way
better than one, maybe, James. Like, I mean,
so for example, when we're looking at like Tawheed, there's like what does that mean? Is it just saying that God is numerically one? Is it saying that there's only one eternal thing? But then you look at like for example the Quran. The Quran is eternal according to Sunni Muslims as well. And the Quran was not created, which has no
No,
beginning
it's
and
not
no end.
eternal. It's not eternal according to Sunnis.
Hold on? Let me
No,
just
I'm just
clarify.
correcting you
Are
because
you
I'm
guys
Sunni. It's not eternal.
Sunni or Shia?
Sunni.
Sunni Muslim. Yeah, but it's not eternal. What we say is the speech of Allah is eternal, right? And the speech of Allah is an attribute. And so the Quran's contents contain Allah's speech, right? But we don't say the Quran itself is an eternal thing.
Yeah, because the
We're
Quran
not saying
came,
that. We're not saying that.
Quran came to existence at a point of time, so it's not eternal.
Okay, if I could, you, so if you guys could do me a favor, please. If somebody makes a point, if you could let me respond to them, and then if you want to make a point, jump in right after. It's really hard for me to like remember everybody's points when people keep jumping in, and it's not as fruitful, I don't think. So no, we're not saying that like the book itself is in paper is eternal, but depending on how you look at this, you look at the pen and you look at the Quran and you say, okay, is there ever a time where the Quran did not exist? And the answer would be no, because they would say it's not created.
No, that's wrong.
But then, hold on, who said it's? Well, look, I need you guys to land on one position. Are you arguing that the Quran is not created or it's uncreated?
We're talking about eternal. We're saying it's not eternal.
So it depends what you mean by the Quran, right? If what you mean by the Quran is the contents of the Quran, right, the speech, then that is not created. That's an attribute of Allah. Then the Quran is amongst the speech of Allah, right? Now, if you're saying that the Quran are like the letters or the pages or the words or anything like that, then that obviously was created. That was muhdath. It came into existence at a certain point in time. Okay, and so the Quran itself is not the Quran, because that can be confused. The speech of Allah is an attribute of His, right? And the reason why that's eternal is because an attribute of Allah that Allah has can't be not eternal.
Is the, from your view at least, because I've heard this particular argument before as well, from your view then, is the Bible eternal?
Yeah, so it depends how the Christians cash out like the Word of God, right? What I assume they're saying the Word of God is Jesus. They're not saying that the Bible is the Word of God. Am I correct in that or no?
Well, I'm just asking from the Islamic perspective,
Yeah, but Christians
because we
cash
would
out
say
the
that
word
Jesus is the
differently. We
Word
say
made
we
flesh.
say the
Yes.
Quran is the word of God. What Christians say is they say Jesus is the word, so he can't be like contradicted or
Well,
corrupted or anything like that. But the Bible itself, the contents of the Bible, that's not the word of God,
well,
right? We
I'm
think the
asking
Quran is
from
the
the,
literal dictation.
yes, and I'm asking from the Islamic perspective, setting aside that I think the Quran affirms the Torah and the Injil as we have it. That's a separate conversation. But setting that aside for the moment, the uncorrupted Torah and the uncorrupted Injil, are those also eternally the speech of Allah?
Yeah, they were just never made into like books. They were more messages, right? Like that the prophets got. They weren't like made into books where they're preserved, and we can read about them today.
So the only issue with the claim that they weren't made into books is that like
They weren't
we have
preserved.
we
Yeah.
found we found like for example Dead Sea Scrolls, and when you match those up with texts that are today,
They're different.
you can see that like
No, but James,
there
we're
is
saying anything that was written
there's
down is not preserved. So the word, what we're saying is the word of God, the Injil and the Torah. We're not saying that was written down and preserved. The Quran was, okay? So just you saying that we have early manuscripts doesn't mean that that early manuscript in and of itself is, again, a dictation by God. Okay, we're just saying that the message that God gave Sayyidina Isa and Sayyidina Musa, those messages were part of the speech of Allah, but that Allah did not intend for those messages to be preserved. That's what we say the Muslim position is.
yeah, and I would say that the simple counter to that is that we have these texts and we have access to these texts that were kept sealed for thousands of years
They contradict
that
each other.
matched the, can I please finish
Yeah, but
speaking?
don't lie. They
Is that
contradict each other. You already know
is
that
it
King James Bible, for example, they added a verse to it, right?
Elias, is it that hard to let me finish speaking?
Yeah,
Like
yes. I'm just correcting
are
you.
you that afraid of what I'm saying? Is what I'm saying so devastated to your Islam for some reason that you can't just let me finish a
Hell
sentence?
no.
Like you can't be that like look, if
I'm
you're
correcting you,
confident and
James.
you
Stop
guys
being
have
a
the,
pussy.
if you are confident and you have the true religion, then you should have no problem with
If
letting me
you are
finish my
confident in
thought
the
and
Trinity,
stretching it out.
why deflect?
Wait, Elias, let him finish. Okay.
They like riding, but I know that they ain't. Ride or die. I go hard in the paint, yeah, homie, I'm a saint. Ride or die.